Hello, so we are here today with Michell Rohrs of Rohrs Farms in Northwest Ohio. They use 105 to 115 day Stine hybrids, and hopefully we learn some things about how they're managing those hybrids and extrapolate some secrets out of Michell today. But before we get into that, could you talk some about how your family started farming here, some of the things that have happened since they established their roots in this area?
My family had moved down here, or moved over here from Germany in the late 1800s. They settled in Henry County, Ohio, and then my uncle had moved down here in 1974. He was actually the first person to ever farm the marsh out here. He was able to clean it up, and then was able to put tile in it, and then started growing some onions and potatoes, and then now we grow processing carrots for Campbell's soup.
Yeah, so you do carrots, soybeans.
We do corn silage, processing carrots and soybeans.
On this farm, I see like a shop, and you do a lot of your own work with equipment.
Yep.
I see you do a lot of that. Can you talk some on why you do that and how that's evolved over time?
So we needed a new carrot harvester one time. We had just built our own carrot harvester. We went and got measurements from Asa Lift, and we were able to make kind of our own. We need so many guys in the fall as truck drivers, so we can offer them a full-time job by servicing all of our equipment. We do everything on our planters, everything on combines, everything to the tractors. Everything is a lot more expensive than it was a year or 2 years ago.
Now, Mitchell, let's get into your Stine hybrids. We're going to try to get some secrets out of you on what you're doing, because you get some amazing performance out of your products and you get some amazing yields out here. Could you tell me like the top two that are probably your favorite hybrids at this point?
For us, it's probably 9709 and 9734. 9734 for the reason of you can kind of put it on really tough soils and it'll still perform. 9709 kind of seems like that variety that if you feed it what it needs, it'll make up for it. We can plant that, early on in the season or later, and it'll still dry down enough for harvest, and that's when if you really feed it well enough that it really has top-end yield on it.
Let's talk some specifics now. You're in 20-inch rows. 20-inch rows. When you're talking about 9734, 9709, do you establish a yield goal early on in the season before you plant those?
Yeah, we're pretty spread out. We're 30 miles in all directions, so not really quite a farm goal itself. But more of a field goal and how we can kind of mitigate the risk and what varieties we know have performed before or will perform good on that type of soil as well.
Now there's something you do here that's unique relative to a number of growers out there. Let's talk about seed bed preparation.
We're trying to move over to 100% strip till. We strip till now. Our corn acres, we're probably 80% spring strip till, and then the rest we do in the fall. We try and put everything that plant needs in a strip in the spring. Why we like Stine is we can run a really high population on that and really feed that corn. Then sometimes we'll come back and we'll wide drop and side dress if needed, but depending on the weather and things like that, a lot of times you could almost put all your fertilizer up front in the spring and that'll get you through the year.
I know you talked about on your strip tillage, you put nitrogen on there, but do you do nitrogen at any other point in the season?
So we'll spring strip till and we'll try and put enough down where you can feed that plant the whole year. We run a wide drop system on our Haggy, and we'll come back at 90 foot so it matches the planter, and we'll come back at 90 foot and then we'll side dress. We'll normally try and spring strip till if we want to run a lighter rate, and then we'll come and side dress later. We'll try and make it to V6.
Okay. And
then we'll come back and side dress, and we might hit it again later. We try and have everything done ahead of tassel.
You'd like to put everything on with your strip tillage. Is that reality? I mean, do you think you can always get that done?
On certain farms, I think so. I mean, everyone has a good farm, everyone has a bad farm. I think on those poorer farms, I think you could feed it enough because your top end's only 190 bushel. I think that's pretty easy to do. But you get some of these other farms that you really want to push it and you want to see 280 corn, then I think you almost have to put enough down in the spring strip, and then starter with the planter, then you come back and side dress at that V5, V6 if you have a wide drop bar, and then another late season application if you really want to get top end yield out of it.
Okay. As far as sulfur within your nitrogen, during your nitrogen applications, is there anything you do special there?
We put some down in the strip in the spring, and then this year we're actually going to switch. We're going to put some down with the planter as well. We currently don't run any liquid on the planter, and then we come back and side dress. We'll also run some sulfur in there as well.
We have found that that's a practice that's essential on what we consider super management of these hybrids. What type of finish populations do you want?
For 9734, it depends what kind of dirt I'm putting it on, but I try and stay right around that 40,000. 9709, I will push it a little bit more, depending on the fertilizer program we have in place for that field itself. We'll push that to 42, 44, and I'll normally do the same with 9714. I'll try and push that to 44. You get over 44, don't really see a benefit going to a 45 or 46 so much yet. The weather around here for the last 5-6 years has been so screwed up, it doesn't seem like we don't start planting till middle of May. But normally that April 25th to April 28th, you'd like to get a good start. Try and get done May 10th, May 15th. That normally doesn't happen. We always set a goal that we're at least done by Memorial Day. So I've planted in April, May, June, and then in 2019 when we had all the flooding, I've actually planted beans on July 2nd. So
wow, yeah, you're really pushing it, yeah. Let's talk some more on populations, because I know you plant some 9714G on your farm. And could you talk some on what you've learned on your farm with that hybrid relative to 9709 and 9734 at this point?
9714, I think you can really push it population-wise. In 2018, we had a really good year here, and I believe that was my first year with it, and I was planting some at 42 and 44,000, and we were seeing yields of 265, 270, in that range on some dirt that really shouldn't be putting up 260 to 270 corn. And
it's definitely a maturity that's almost too early for your area.
Yeah.
But you can put a small percentage of the ground into it.
Yep.
So on fungicide and insecticide, anything, is the same program across your farm? Do you change that up?
We've done a lot of testing with putting a fungicide down, a cheaper fungicide like a Strobin for northern corn leaf blight, gray leaf spot on a V5, V6. And being in 20-inch rows out here, get hot and humid, you have no airflow in between those rows. So we'll try and spray a fungicide on early to kind of help it out. And then we'll normally do one right ahead of tassel or at brown silk, depending on the disease pressure we see coming through. Sometimes if it is a really good farm, and to try and keep that plant alive, we'll do one ahead of tassel and at brown silk. Well,
thank you very much for taking the time to sit down with us and talk about how you manage your super management of corn on your farm. It's exciting to see that. I've learned a lot here. You've got a very dynamic operation. I wish you the best on future years with high yields, and I think you're going to hit those regardless. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.